Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. Every episode at the moment could be the final one, as today we are back for the World Cup quarter-final against France, the second-ranked side in the world just after we've beaten the third. This run to the final has certainly not been easy. If we get through, we will play the semi-final today as well. If not, we'll be reflecting on a tournament that will probably lead to a sacking, given the fact we're expected to reach the last four. So if you're looking forward to finding out how we get on and you are enjoying this World Cup so far, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. 131 episodes after managing our first game with Brechin, and it's come to this, managing our nation in a World Cup quarter-final against one of the best sides in the world. It doesn't get much bigger than this. If you want to stay up to date and see how we get on, subscribe down below for daily FM21 content. As soon as this series is finished and we've done our review and wrap up of our career, we will be moving our Build a Nation series with Bangor City to every weekday at 3:30. It's absolutely flying, it's on the cusp of greatness, and if you haven't yet, I'd encourage you to check it out in the eye above. We've also got at least 10 watch-along live streams on Twitch every month from August 2021, so please do give us a follow over there as well. The link's up in the eye above. But today, it's all about France and what could be a semi-final to follow it. So we're waiting the France challenge. The weather report, a little bit cooler, which is probably going to help us out. And there's a few people who are optimistic, but no one's really getting too excited. This could be a massive moment for us in this save. If we reach expectation via the semi-finals, I think we can then start to say that this has been a success. If we go out at this point, probably not in truth. Let's get to the fixtures and straight into the first one. There is no point holding this up. We all know what we're here for, but there are some problems. So the quarterfinals, just so you know who it consists of, us and France, Croatia, Holland. The second lot are Serbia, Romania, Italy, Portugal. We know how good Italy are from playing them in the Nations League, and Portugal were in that group too. Romania, absolutely brilliant. They've got some great youngsters. We've mentioned them throughout the save, particularly defensively. But I think the expectation is if we get through, we'll face either Holland or Croatia. Now, Holland are, of course, ranked first in the world, so our run to the final could be third, second and first. And then in that theory, if we get through them all, the final will be easy. But at the moment, Croatia are the side we're hoping wins. 15th in the world rankings, only one or two real superstars in their squad. If we get through our side of the draw and get to the final, I mean, unless we play Italy, it's probably an easier final than any of the running. So I'll wait and see how it pans out. But for now, let's go and look at our lineup for the France game. And there's a big blow. Ant Folwell found his goal-scoring boots in the last game, and now he's out. He's not fit despite the 6-day rest. He's got very high injury susceptibility, has had recurring injuries for a long time. So I'm just going to drop him out because Thomas Parks, he scored that winner against Germany. He should be the man that's got the confidence through the roof. And if he can bring that into today's game, we should be all right. We've reunited Ralph and Southam at centre-half for the first time this tournament. Played the whole qualifying campaign together. And now Southam fit, Ralph back from suspension. We finally get to field our best defence. Neil Merritt between the sticks had an okay tournament. And hopefully he'll do all right today too. So this is the lineup in full. It's Merritt in goal. Smith and Simpson the fullbacks with Ralph and Southam at centre-half. Sarpong and Essien continue in the middle. Rayner, Walters and Rawson the attacking midfield three. And Thomas Parks making his first start of the tournament up front. So from the Germany game, it's Walters in on the right for Mamor. Parks in up front for Folwell, who's not fit. And then at centre-half, it's Ralph coming back in from suspension to replace Leonie Lambert, who drops out for the first time. So let's go and get into it. England v France, the second place side in the world. They're going to have an absolute abundance of world-class talent. We'll get an introduction to their side in a minute once we reach the game. So it's a real mix here and a blend for France of experience and young talent. So, Camavinga's one who's got to be closed down. Kylian Mbappe, now 35, is the skipper. Todibo at centre-half, we know all about his talents. There's even a few experienced ones on the bench as well. But looking at some of the younger players, one of which is very familiar to us. Romeric Cobanant we had at Real Madrid. He was absolutely brilliant. And he starts in centre midfield for them. So we know this is a very strong side. We know it's going to be one hell of a test. And we're probably underdogs for this one. And that's the first time that's really happened for us in this tournament. So let's see how we get on in the first half. It's England v France in the last 8 of the World Cup. Who's going to come out on top? Let's find out. Well, it has been a cagey 17 minutes, but we are back with a free kick in a dangerous position and a Cobanan yellow card. Giovanni Reina steps up 30 yards out, just wide of the post, had a bit too much bend on it. But no shots for France, just one on target for us, and the possession's pretty level as well, as it's a long goal kick forward from the French side. Cemento gets on the end of it on the right. He's got a striker in the middle in Mbappe, gets to the byline, deflected cross, Simpson wins the header. It's a crucial interception. Walters keeps it in on the right hand side, and now we hope we can spring a counter. Walters goes flying down the right, plays it inside to Thomas Parks, who holds up. Back to Essien, and now Sarpong. Had a really poor game against Germany, carrying a knock. We'd like him to be back to full quality today. Ralph out to Simpson on the right. Walters takes on the fullback. Can he get the cross in? Gets to the byline, skins his man. Walters back for Reina. The shot's blocked off the line, and Camavinga hoofs clear. Certainly been just about the better side, or created the better chances so far, but nothing to show for it, and that's all that counts when you get to this stage of a major tournament, as France have got a corner, yet to have a shot, but Mbappe in, Southern heads clear. Such a great addition at this stage. Rawson beats his man to the clearance. Parks is in one-on-one with the defender, takes him on, goes left, he's forced to an acute angle, and Cam wins it well. No penalty given, and it's hoofed downfield by France, but to be honest, we're camping them in a little bit here. Ralph plays down the right-hand side to Walters. Simpson's on the overlap. Got a booking, but looking good so far. Back to Essien. To Simpson. To Essien again. Into Walters. Back to Simpson. Into Rawson. Parks gets the header in the end. It's just wide of the near post. We've been by far the better side. We've created all of the chances. But it's still goalless with 10 to the break, as Smith throws into Giovanni Reina. Cuts in from the left-hand side. And without Folwell, we haven't got that burning pace in behind. But Reina's trying to do it all himself. Gets into the penalty area. Right side of the box. Oh, he had to cut that back. Tried to shoot. Tried to be too clever. And it remains 0-0. And back like the group stage games here. Loads of chances. Barely any on target. As they throw in from the right, France. Deep in their own half. Cemento picks it up. We'll happily let him have the ball back there. Gives it to Todibo, the centre-back. Up to Cemento again. Flicks on for Cesbron. They've got him behind us here. It's a 2-on-2. Linon finds Saidi. We have split and parted like the Red Sea. Thankfully, the shot is straight at merit, but we get away with one late on there. France probably had the best chance of the half right at the end, but aside from that, we've been the better side. Let's give the fans something to cheer, get into the second half, and cross fingers we can nick it, because it's been a brilliant performance. And we're back immediately from the kickoff, which is taken from Thomas Parks to Sarpong. Southern finds Smith, maybe a little concerned that both fullbacks looking fatigued and on a yellow card, as Parks holds it up. That's the side Folwell doesn't give us as a target man. As the ball's cleared, Smith will get there first. Cemento wins it though. Saidi in behind. The defender's caught in treacle. It's a brilliant finish from Karim Saidi. I'm not sure what happened to Southern. Probably a lack of match fitness in truth. Just didn't have the legs to get there. And Saidi, I mean, he's a quality player, isn't he? If I show you his attributes so you can see. £65 million he's worth. Electric quick. Strong as an ox. Absolutely brilliant. Scored over 1 in 2 for France. And that's all it takes. On the break, they nick it. And now they've got to throw on the right. They're building confidence. Reina hoofs it away, but there's nobody there. Rawson looks knackered, the most important player. Reina's had a poor one. Walters not really looking fit either. Saidi with a shot again. Just wide of the near post. We're going to demand a bit more. But something needs to change quick, or this game's going to be over before we know it. Right, we've just passed the hour mark. It's time for big decisions. Ant Folwell's not fit, but he's coming on to save the day up front. On the left wing, do we go Curtis Jones or Mamor? Mamor's coming on. In midfield, we've got weak performers, but I don't want to make the last change yet. I don't want to throw all our eggs in one basket. So let's get through to the last 20 minutes and see if we can get an equaliser. Southern's got a free kick on halfway. Plays a 1-2 with Sarpong. Keeps the ball in the circle, but we're not really going anywhere. And we've just sort of gone into our shell since conceding. That one's gone all the way back to the keeper Merritt. And he can play out with Southern yet again. Can we create a good opportunity? It's just an aimless ball forward there. Luckily it falls for Southern again. He gives it to Rawson. Through ball's intercepted by Todibo. Really good defending. Back to the keeper Buisson. Long ball forward intercepted by Simpson. He's got Walters down the line. Play short to Essien instead. Through to Rawson. Right side of the box. Back to Mamor. And the super sub off the bench saves the day. Rawson on despite being absolutely knackered. And that's why he's got the final product that nobody else has. and he puts us back on level terms. But this game is getting out of hand now because France look dominant. Todibo gets the ball into Linon. Camavinga plays through to Cemento. You've got the centre forward upsidey again. He's beaten Southam so easily. Smashes it against the woodwork. Merritt didn't move. And I'm getting a bit worried defensively here. I could take off Smith, who shattered an on a yellow card, and just bring on Stockbridge. Try and give us a little bit more solidity back there. But it's such an even game. There's two sides with loads of knackered players. And it's just about moments of quality and mistakes at this point. Cemento puts a corner in, not like that. Sidey heads just over the bar. And with 10 minutes to go, I don't even know which way this match is going to go. Simpson throws into Walters. Got it on the right. Simpson's overlapping. Gets to the byline. Crosses it in. Mamour's there. Nearly scores again. Back to Essien. And his ball in deflects off Folwell's head. And just goes over the bar. Unbelievable stuff, really. 8 minutes to go. I'm going to drop to balanced, I think. Just sit us behind the ball a bit more. But I'm not sure it'll make a difference here. As Sesbron plays to Marchand. He gets into the area unopposed. Good block back to Rawson. He hoofs away. Mamour will chase. But I think Todibo gets there first. He does. And he mops up really well there. Because Mamour is our fresh legs up there. Cemento gets it on the right-hand side again. Big switch of play. Simpson's been skinned by LeFloc. Into the box. Crosses for Sidey. Good block. Essien away to Rawson. And we survive another one here. France are getting in behind a bit too easily. So what I'm going to do, tactically, we're going to drop our defensive line. And we're not going to play the offside trap. Because it just isn't working. Hopefully then we can keep the ball a bit more and just slow this game down to our pace. 4 minutes of stoppage time gone. We're going to extra time for the second round in a row. Playing these top class sides and doing this over and over is surely going to catch up with us. We're going to have to make another change in a minute and I don't know who to take off. It's got to be one of the midfield three. We need to freshen up. I'm going to bring on Omar Kane for Faisal Sarpong, I think. And I just hope it makes a difference. I know Rawson's basically a passenger, but he's the best penalty taker if we get to that stage. He's the one creative spark we've got in central positions. As Mamour loses the ball on the left, he's the fresh legs. He's the one we need to keep the ball. The long ball forward finds Asadek. The centre forward for France is getting in behind. And he puts it into the side netting. I'm almost out of words. It's just hope at this point. It's hope more than expectation. Buisson with a long ball forward down the right. Straight out for a throw-in, is it? No. It stays in. Southam keeps it there. But now we need a quality bit of possession. Kane goes back to Southam again. We're being forced backwards. Gives it to Kane for a third time. Long ball over. It's aimless. We've got short passing, lower tempo. Because they're all so tired, nobody's showing for the ball. And in the end, we're just giving it away. LeFloc skins the whole team. Plays for Sidey. What a finish that is. We're going to have to go back to our natural game plan and chase the game here. But I've got a feeling this could end up being 3 or 4 because we just haven't got the legs. And I'm afraid as we head into the second half of extra time, this is probably going to be end of the road for England. I don't see where the goal comes from. They've got a throw in on the left-hand side. If they score a third, it's over. But we've got to push forward. Cam gets the ball to Coffey. Unfortunately, Folwell's shown nothing since he came on. We just need that bit of quality. Sidey picks the ball through. Asadek's there. The World Cup run is over for England. We're going to play a little more direct, just try and get in behind. But it's the end of the road, I think. Disappointment at the quarter-final stage. We have been unfortunate with the draw. We have got to concede that, if nothing else. But it doesn't matter. You have to beat what's in front of you. And unfortunately, after a big effort to beat the third-ranked side in the world, we've lost against the second best in France. And they could well go on to win this tournament with the strength in depth they've got. Quarter-final disappointment. Walters now off injured as well. No more subs allowed, I'm afraid. So we're just going to have to play with 10. What a way to end the tournament, eh? 10 men, France 3, England 1 after extra time. Injuries galore, lack of fitness galore. And we disappoint in the grand scheme of things, despite a very difficult draw. Let's see what the fallout is from this outcome. England criticised for their World Cup performance. Problems revealed as well. I mean, I don't think it was that bad. But what we have got to consider is the fact if you look at this squad, 4 players over 30, another big section at a 28 or 29. In 2 years, this is going to be a very different looking squad. And England have not got the best youngsters coming through. It's going to be a big challenge. And I don't know if we're going to be chosen to be the man for it or if we want to. So we're going to skip ahead to see who wins the tournament anyway. But then we've got a big decision to make if England don't make it for us. Well, I don't want to give too much of an indicator as to what's going to happen after this World Cup, but our manager performance is now F. Because we were extra time away from meeting expectation, but we played the second best side in the world. I mean, that's a little bit harsh. We're going to skip ahead to next Sunday, see who wins the World Cup, whether we're going to get to resign or whether England are going to choose to retire us. We'll be back in a moment. Well, utterly ridiculously, we are back for the World Cup final. It is Serbia who are facing Italy. That is not going to help my chances of keeping my job. So how did that work out? France in a third place playoff beat Holland. Italy beat them. So if we'd got through France, we would have played Italy. Serbia have played Holland. They've had the slightly better run. And they beat the number one side in the world when they got to the semis. You can't argue with it. Just because I expect us to get sacked, let's have a very quick review of our tournament and the players and how they got on. So in terms of their selection during this tournament and the build-up games, the star player was definitely Derek Rawson. He's a younger one, but he is the future of English football. For the next 10 years, at 24 years of age, he's the man they need to rely on. He's the one genuinely world-class player they've got. Dengma Moore and Colin Walters are probably the next two best ones in their 20s, but they're both right wingers. So that's going to cause a little bit of frustration later on. Rawson, the top scorer, although that does include penalties. And to be fair, Thomas Part's not far behind. But the big disappointment and the problem we had is that Ant Folwell just couldn't score goals. And if he'd been able to do that, if he'd been in the form he'd been in the qualifiers, in the warm-up games, and for Manchester City, I think we would have been alright. But unfortunately, just wasn't to be. A lot of players contributed. I do feel for Anthony Rowe, who didn't play in any of the pre-tournament or the actual matches. But everyone else got a run out at some point. Rawson top of the assist chart too. Giovanni Reina behind him had a fantastic tournament, but ran out of steam and bottled it on the biggest stage because at 31 and after all the injuries, he's just not got the legs for it anymore. So let's see who wins the World Cup final. Let's see if we get sacked from the England job too. Are we going to finish on a resignation or a first sacking of the series? We're probably going to find out in the next day. Oh my. Italy comfortably beaten by Serbia in the final. I'm sorry, I've got to go and look at the stats. Italy were dominant. They got FM'd. But 2 goals in the final for Serbia. Kocic, a fringe defender at Chelsea. And Stanic, who is a fringe winger at Bayern Munich. He's not great. He's in the B team. That's odd. We've moved up one place to 6th in the world rankings because we've beaten good sides here. Serbia are up to 14th after winning the tournament. I just want to see if we've now survived or if some of the other managers happen tomorrow. So our rating is still F. If we go and have a look at the job centre, there's no other jobs that have come up yet. So I'm guessing it will happen overnight. Let's skip ahead to tomorrow. Well, I've got the warning on the page already. It popped up as one of the news items. We have finished our career with our first sacking at a save. We said it had gone a bit too swimmingly this year. Winning Champions Leagues, winning Premier Leagues, winning at Serie A, winning the FA Cup, winning the League Cup, winning the Scottish Premiership, winning the Scottish Cup. But we finish with that. Sacked from our role as England manager. They're saying it's an awful performance at the World Cup. We were expected to reach the semi-finals despite not being one of the top 4 ranked sides. We didn't really have many great players in the team. It wasn't one of the best teams in the world. We could have taken that Italy job, of course, a side that got to the final. We then had a very unfortunate draw, beat the 3rd best side in the world, and then lost to the 2nd best side. I mean, I don't think that we could have done much more there. We've had a brilliant career. We're going to reflect on that in the future. But we now don't have a job. And if this had been halfway through the save and we were looking to continue, we of course would have accepted the PSG job or the Borussia Mönchengladbach job a few weeks ago. But as it is, we finish with a sacking. And it's just the perfect apt way to end this head coach series. It explains how it works perfectly. So what we're going to do over the next couple of days, we'll be back in 2 days' time for a review of our career, a review of the clubs we've managed, and to see how the footballing world's looking. But what a way to end. You just couldn't write it. Failure as England manager, and unfortunately, an ending on a sacking. What it does mean is that next week we'll be moving to every weekday for our Bangor City Build a Nation save. We're going to be showing that 5 days a week. We're going to have some specials over the weekends as well. So please do subscribe down below. Chuck a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed seeing our disappointment. Let me know in the comments whether you think that was a harsh sacking as I do, or if you think it was utterly fair, because it said semi-finals, we reached the quarters, and a draw shouldn't really matter. I'll be interested to get your thoughts on that and in our career as a whole, as we're going to reflect on that in just a couple of days' time. Before you go, please do click the link up in the eye above and follow us over on Twitch too. We're going to have regular live stream watch-alongs from next week as the season kicks off in England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. And I'm really looking forward to showing a bit of that. So please do come and follow us over there. Come and hang out for the chat. But a big thanks for watching, following along as always. It is greatly appreciated. I'll see you in 2 days' time for a review of our career. But we end on a sacking, and that is the sad reality of it. I'll see you there.